Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Harebrained Games. Today we're going to take a review time of Brian Boru. This is High King of Ireland. Now, this is from Osprey Games. It plays 3 to 5 players. Competitive, takes about an hour. Ireland is awash with would-be kings, power-hungry pretenders, and self-professed rulers. You know, I hear that they're not going to make rulers any longer. Anyway, the provinces are in disarray and the common folk are paying the price. The land needs a leader. Well, could you be that leader? Well, let's find out if you're leader or leader hosen. Okay, let's talk about what comes in Brian Boru, High King of Ireland. This is the map. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I'll have to clear it off before we start our game because it's got pieces on it from my last play. But what you have is Ireland, broken up into 8 constituent regions that may be familiar to the Irish. And in this map, you've got different areas that you're going to be contending for control over during the course of play. You've got princesses and princes, which you will vie for on the marriage track here. You've got Vikings that are going to come in and try and wreak havoc throughout the land. There's special tokens, one for each of the 8 regions. And once there's enough ownership and control in a region, at the end of the round, people will be able to take control of it, and as long as they hold control of it, they'll be getting points at the end of the game. Scoring track, etc. There are cards, and these cards are the cards you're going to be taking tricks with. There are 3 colors and a wild card. All of the numbers are different. There are no duplicates, and so there will always be a winner, and there will always be non-winners. At the top is what you get when you win. At the bottom is what you get when you lose, similar to a game I played called Furnace, which kind of does a similar thing, so nobody truly loses out in the end. You've got money, because money drives stuff. You've got control tokens used for a variety of purposes. You have this ring. It's not the Ring of Power, don't worry. There won't be 8 episodes of stupidity dealing with how this was formed. But this will be used when you want to choose where you're going to have everyone fight for control over. Finally, there's some notoriety, renown tokens, and then Viking tokens, because Vikings can take over stuff. You also have these, which are monasteries. As you place them, wherever you place them, their effect is doubled. So as far as control over a region is concerned. So we'll learn more about that later. And then everyone gets a round structure token, or a round structure card to tell you what to do. And then you can take a language course and then play it on the backside if you so wish. And then, obviously, there's up to 5 players. It's 3 to 5 players specifically. So there we go. Let's get into an example of play. Okay, to play Brian Boru, the game takes place over a course of rounds. How are these rounds determined? By player count. You determine how many of these prince and princesses will be vied over in order. Let's flip that over. So when you're going to play through a round of cards, and then somebody's going to win a marital fusion between the people of this land and the Vikings coming in, etc. There's some backstory. You can read the manual about it. But anyway. So you're going to play 8 rounds in 8 rounds. You're going to play 3 rounds in a 3-player game. You will play 4 rounds in a 5-player game, I believe. I've only played this 3 and 4 so far. I haven't played it 5 yet. But everybody starts off with 10 points. Everyone starts with no marriage track fun. But everyone is randomly shuffled out and given 8 cards. Now these cards, again, the top is what you get, or what you do when you win. Bottom, you can take a choice of something on the bottom when you lose. This guy is Skull. He's happily married and men are looking on. I like the artwork. Anyway, so before anything, the first thing you do is you reveal the Viking card. And we've already done this, but you reveal the Viking card, and that number of Vikings gets put into this location. So we have 12 Vikings. There's going to be a Viking phase at the end of the round, unless everyone is able to take all the Vikings out of the Viking battle box. Then reveal the marriage card. We have Njal. Hi, Neil. At the end of so whoever gets him is going to get 2 victory points, and they're going to get to place one of their control markers on any place in northern Unil. All right, then the draft phase. Again, each person grabs 8 cards in a 3-player game, 6 in a 4, 5 in a 5-player game, and then they're going to look and they're going to pick 2 of these cards to keep, and then they're going to pass it to the left. And they're going to, every player is going to do this, and they're just going to do a round robin to look for cards that they think would be advantageous. Obviously, the higher number cards are better for wins. The wild cards, such as this, that can match any color, are also pretty valuable, although they might have some cost. But you might not want to turn down low-cost cards either, because, A, if you win, generally speaking, it doesn't cost you much. The higher cards, you may end up having to pay money in order to accomplish a task. And if you can't pay the money, that's bad. You're going to lose 2 victory points for everything you cannot pay. So there's a little gotcha there. And then you've got the, hey, if I win this, I get this. If I lose, I get these. So anyway, so I've already done this sort of round robin thing. So we're going to start with this 3-player session, and we're going to go through the action phase. We're going to have purple start. Purple's going to find some place on the map where they want to start. Now, looking at their cards, they're like, you know what, I really want to get started up in, let's start here. Why? Because if I win this, then there are cards that let me, even if I don't win, I can pay money and expand out on a roadway. Some places have roadways, some places don't. So that's interesting to know. All right, so we'll do that. And then the first thing is going to put out the card. Okay, now, in order, everyone else gets to go, wow, what I'm going to do? Well, I can't win that. I can't outdo a 23. So maybe I want to just get rid of a mediocre card because I like the benefits here. I like this one. So we'll take that one and lay that one out, and that becomes the card. And then our blue is like, I don't care. And you can follow. This is a trick-taking game where you can literally throw any card out there. If you don't match the color, in this case yellow, because I put this on a yellow card, I had to play a yellow card or a wild card. But you don't have to. You're not going to win if you just ditch another card. But if you're like, I really want to get this one out of my hand, or this is going to be meaningless to me, I can just throw it out, and I'm still going to get the advantage in the bottom. We're going to do this. All right. So we've all played our cards, and now we go through them, and we resolve them in ascending order. So worst card gets to go first. That's cool. So 3 coins are given, and everyone starts with 3 coins and a renowned. And then an opportunity to expand. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. Everybody gets to put one of their tokens out anywhere on a region to start with. But they can't be in the same region as someone else. So I'm starting off over here. So I can choose right now. I've gained 3 coins in the fountain, and I can spend 5 of these coins, which I'm going to do, and still have 1 left, in order to be able to expand out from a location I'm already at that has a roadway that lets me do it. So look at that. I am now here. Why is that cool? Because I now have closer opportunity to have an advantage here of more ownership than anyone else. At the end of the round, if there are 4 locations or more that are under control, then whoever has the most is going to be able to take that token, that province marker, whatever you call it, and own that until the end of the game, as long as someone else doesn't come back and get even more. All right, so that's that. So then we just discard it. Goodbye. And then we go to the next one, 10. Well, we have 2 choices here. We can do this or we can do this. In this case, we're going to roll up 2 on the marriage track, because that puts us in the lead for maybe getting that benefit at the end of the round. And finally, the person who plays this, they win. So they don't get the bottom part, they do the top part. So they're going to take their token and they're going to put it here. And then they're going to get this ring back because they won, so they're going to get to choose next. And then it's going to cost them 2 coins though. So that's that. So there we go. And that's the end of 1 round. That's really the essence, sort of the core of the game. And then I'm going to do it again. We're going to hey, let's see if we can have inroads here. And so you look here and go, oh, this is a dumb move, Tim. But we'll use our wild card. Our wild 22 there. And there we go. And then say, let's just for giggles and grins, let's no red here, so it's going to have to be something anyway. So let's just do something that's going to give us an advantage on the bottom card. Okay, so let's do that. And, oh, what the heck, let's do that. So then same thing. We'd be like, okay, well, obviously red won again. Now, it's possible. Let's see if there's anything. No, we'll do this, because that way we lose. So then 12 goes first, takes 2 tokens, and puts it in the church zone. Now, the church zone is going to give benefits. This is where you can actually build monasteries that are going to give you advantages for control later on. So there's that. And then we thought we won, but we didn't. But we still get 2 coins. But we don't have enough to actually expand because we only have 3 coins. So, oh well. And then finally here, we get to place our token here. That's good. And it costs us 2 coins. Now, we couldn't pay the 2 coins, silly us, so we're going to have to drop back 2. Ouch, now we're behind. And that's it. That's what's going to go on and on and on. And you'll see in all these cards, you're going to see, when you win, when you lose, you're going to get a benefit or whatever. So let's just assume we went through all the cards. You go through all but your last card. So in this case, you're going to play 7 cards. You don't have to play the last one. And there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of ownership going around as you're picking up stuff along the way. When that's done, then you go, when everyone's played all 7 cards, that's the end of the round. And then your upkeep phase is you go look and say, okay, who's ahead on the track? Say it's here and here and here something. Note that if you actually go up the track and you land on a particular location, either you have to go back to the nearest available spot or you have to play 2 coins to keep going till you get to a spot. There are no ties here. So whoever was ahead would get this card. They'd get 2 points. In this case, we'd do like, yay, and you'd get to place this anywhere in northern Neil, yay, and that's the end of that. Then you have the battle step. Now this is the thing that you didn't see, is that on some of these cards you're going to see battle, yeah, there we go. So battle icons. When you do that, you grab 2 of these, and this is going to be advantageous to you, say, as you're clearing them off. If everybody takes all of the battle Vikings off, then the Vikings aren't going to attack. Otherwise, they are. And when they attack, it's kind of not awesome, because whoever's got the least amount of battle tokens, and if it's a tie, this includes everybody, they're going to basically have the person who has the most battle tokens be able to put stuff right on there. Now it's owned by the Vikings, not you. You've just lost that, and that's bad. Now there are ways to get it back, some ways to get your towns back, and there also, at the end of the game, there's whoever gets this marriage is going to be able to have options to have military support where the Vikings actually are in your favor, and etc. So you're going to go through that, and the Vikings are going to attack you, and then you're going to get renowned for whoever has the most Vikings, and that will give you points. Again, the rules are pretty simple, not real hard to figure out there. And then the church step is whoever has the most. There's some rules there. They're a little bit intricate, but there's rules there. Can basically put a monastery wherever they feel so inclined. Let's just assume that was there. And that's going to count for double. So not only do you get 1 influence, you get 2 influences, and that counts for double. And then they wipe them off, and then everyone else who has something in that church area is going to be able to get points as well. And if you have anyone who has at least 4 tokens in that area is going to get to do a monastery as well. Again, the rules are a little bit squirrely, but once you get through them a couple times, it's not bad. And then the most important step is the claim region step. Now, say, for example, in Munster, if I have 5 people in this region, then whoever has the most influence here is going to get this token. Let's say that it was... they don't get to double stack. This isn't McDonald's. Let's say that in this region we had 5 and 3 of that is orange. Well, orange is going to get this, and as long as they can keep this, if someone else gets more regions than they do, then they can be taken away in a future round. But generally speaking, you're relatively safe. And so you go through and you grab these so that at the end of the game, you're going to get 7 points. Not an insignificant amount of points. And so you're going to go through, claim the regions, any of them that qualify. Again, if you don't have enough presence yet, and they just stay dormant here until the next round. But otherwise, they're going to keep going until, like, hey, Udiad, nothing there, but we've got 3 in Northern O'Neill. If we had 4, we would flip this over and stuff. So, and that's the end of the round. You're going to do this 3 times. You're going to go through all 3 of these princes and princesses till you get to the last one, and then you're going to resolve it. And then at the end of the game, you're going to get some, whoever has the most coins gets a point, renown's worth points, and then you're going to count all these for points, and then whoever has the most points wins. That's really effectively the game in a nutshell. So, all right, let's get into my thoughts on Brian Boru, High King of Ireland. All right, final thoughts on Brian Boru, High King of Ireland. Did it really satisfy my desire to strive to unite Ireland under my domain and secure control through might, cunning, and matrimony? Well, let's go over the cons first. There aren't too many. I would say that thematically, there isn't a strong tie here in the area control / trick taking that would say, oh, this has to be Ireland. Oh, this is definitely Ireland. You could slap this onto a lot of different other themes. They might even end up doing that, and it would serve us as well. So, mechanically, there's nothing that ties it and binds it to the High King of Ireland kind of stuff. That said, there's a lot of thematic artwork and style there that does kind of imbue that High King of Ireland feel to you. The other thing is it definitely is a 3 to 5 player game. I've seen some variants for 2 and 1, but they don't really satisfy. This really needs to be 3. I found the sweet spot at 4. I think 4 was a great way to kind of get just enough congestion on the map and vying over stuff. 4 was great, but I would honestly play it at any of its actual stated player counts and be just fine with it. The other thing is, for some reason, the cards, I need to sleeve them, and I don't usually say that because usually I can survive, but the edges of the cards, I don't know why, but they are not strong and sturdy. And I'm very careful opening it up, but after 4 or 5 games of this, they started to show some wear, more so than I've seen in a lot of the other games, and I'm no stranger to games with cards. So, something to be mindful of. But let's get into the pros. That's it for the cons. This is a delightful amalgamation of area control and trick taking. I used to not like trick-taking games very much. They just kind of bored me to tears, but most of the time it was because they were simplistic fare. There really wasn't anything that said, hey, can we add something a little less samey to this over and over? Probably, youth camp growing up and all that when you're playing, like, Up and Down and all that, and these just mind-numbingly boring games of just, yep, okay, I win, stuff. There's a real push right now for a lot of ideas of trick-taking games that really just infuse a ton of things. There's Skull King, there's obviously the Crew, and now Brian Boru. Brian Boru is probably an echelon above in regards to complexity because it adds that spatial element of an area control map. And so you are giving choices, you're making choices that aren't just simple trick-taking, okay, color, number, okay, I got it. Because you're aiming to lose. I like this. I like the element of like in Furnace, a game that also does this, where you aren't vying to. You aren't the only one that gets a prize when the hand is done. You might get the prize you intended or wanted, but if not, you have a fallback. You have a backup plan. Something will happen to advance you, even if it wasn't in the direction you hoped, or maybe necessarily take you as optimally in the direction you wish to go in trying to conquer these areas of the map. There is a nice feel of the game and all the different things that flow. You are feeling like you're advancing forward. It's just a matter of whether it's to the direction you think is going to bring you to victory, or some other side route that hopefully might be enough to bull you over the top towards victory. I really like that. I love the artwork. Innis is probably still my favorite as far as that kind of theme, and I'm looking forward to Banish the Snakes. Another Irish theme game. I think is probably going to blow everything out of the water when it arrives. But this one is fine. It's very pleasant on the eyes. All the artwork is great. The board is not too vivid, but that's okay because you need to have the places you're going to contend over stand out too. Nothing wrong with that. I do like the whole, you got the matrimony track, which is it's a side quest, and then you've got the cathedral part, which is honestly a little bit That was probably the weakest part of it. It just didn't feel like, okay, like you're just stuffing stuff there. The Viking part is, I mean, it's not this Viking game where you're battling or whatever. It is a thing where you're kind of like making some interesting, albeit subtle choices. Grabbing your Vikings because you're going to want that renown because it's going to add points, but you're not really fighting and contending. You're not like my 4 units against your 3 or whatever. But it is satisfying to have the most of those and then find out that the person with the least, you get to go put a Viking thing on and, you know, mess up their plans. So there's a little take that and a little gotcha that goes around the room, and I think that's pretty intriguing. Pretty intriguing indeed. I like that. Again, it's a little squirrely to try to go through the end of round things like, okay, if you're here, you get that, you get this and that, or a cathedral, well, if you've got the most, you do this and you pull it off, then there's a second phase and sort of a backup. But what if there's a tie? When you get into like ties and who's tied, that's when you got to go like, okay, like I think I got it. That could have been a little more clear, but ultimately it's fine. You're going through all these things, the matrimony, the cathedral, the Vikings, and then you're looking at the area control, who's got the most, who doesn't. Then you've got the monasteries, and they're subtle. It's not like there's nothing. Again, it's a pretty simple mechanism called, cathedral kind of stuff, monastery, but it works, and it can be enough. It can slip the tide of battle, or slip the tide of ownership and stuff. And yeah, I mean, all in all, if I had one word to describe this would be pleasant. This is pleasant, above average complexity trick-taking game. The audience for this in my group is a little niche. You're not going to find that you might be able to teach it into casual plays, but most of the time they're going to want to play the crew or something else. But it's still a niche that's going to, I think, embrace it and just enjoy the fact that someone actually did this kind of interesting idea and then it pans out. So honestly, I would give it a 7.5. I think might even grow more as I play it more. Again, not something I could throw at every audience, but definitely something I could throw at a certain subset of the audience of gamers that I play with that have enjoyed it. So on that regard, Brian, sing your song. It's great. I give it a thumbs up and recommend people that are have at least 3 to 4 players and want to try something unique, a little unique twist on trick taking. Give it a whirl. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Harebrained Games.